Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sports Report. I'm Jefferson Athletic Director Doug Stotler. Today we're going to be talking things over with head softball coach Tony Cook. Coach Cook, thanks for coming to the show today.
Glad to be here.
You guys have been extremely busy on the softball field, and that's often a trick for you because not only are you our softball coach at the college, you are an instructor at the area technical school. How long have you been doing that, and what do you do?
I've been teaching here, this is my 5th year, and it's been kind of unique a situation because of with teaching a full schedule here during the day and then also turn around and being the head women's softball coach. It takes a lot of time and effort to put in to get both jobs done. But the ATS job, I love doing that. I teach carpentry classes down there, and it's challenging. It's fun.
And I'm sure a lot of people realize that dugouts and projects that we have in athletics are often thrown your way. And you probably have a lot of students that have participated in these kind of projects for us as well.
We have, in the past with, all the local sending schools, 13 of them, we have a lot of county kids that take carpentry classes, so we utilize them to do projects like that, in which they take a lot of pride into, which is unique because they get to see what they've done and what they finished, and everybody else gets to, you look and see what the local high school students are building around here.
Coach, let's get to this spring softball project. You've got some terrific talent to work with. You've got a good group of sophomores. You've got a large group of freshmen. You've got 8 sophomores, and it looks like 5 of them are outstanding players and have already moved on. Start telling us who some of your sophomores are and what schools they've committed to for the following season.
We'll start with our pitching staff. We think we've got a great combination of a 1-2 on our sophomores, which is Jordan Crisp and Courtney Dosa. And Jordan is from North Callaway High School. She's been, outstanding for us in the last 2 years, and this year she's off to a great start. She leads, the whole Metro, the MCCAC conference in ERA and strikeouts, and right now currently she's in the top 25 in ERA. She handles most of our heavy load of our big games that we play, and without her, we wouldn't be the team that we are. And same thing goes for Courtney Dosa. She's a dual role for us as a pitcher and then also as a power hitter, first baseman. And without her contributions, we would also be really in a jam without that kind of talent. And both of them are moving on next year, and with Jordan Crisp, she's going to go to either Briarcliff University or Lincoln University. She's kind of deciding on what, but it's down to those two. And then Courtney Dosa is deciding on if she's going to go back to California or if she's going to stay here at Missouri Baptist.
Mm-hmm. Coach, I was really impressed with Crisp's ability to finish one game and start another. Is that something that you typically see in a softball season at this point, where you've got a pitcher that finishes a game for you and starts the next? I was very impressed by that.
In softball, it's common that a pitcher will throw more than one game at a time. Most universities and colleges, and even at the high school level, usually they'll just have one pitcher, and that pitcher will throw almost all their games, majority of them. So it's pretty common that you have one pitcher that dominates like that and will pitch most of the season. And so it's a pretty common thing for us at the junior college level.
Coach, how about some of your sophomore hitters? I've seen an awful lot of balls leave the yard in the short part of the season that we've seen. You've got some big bats that are really good hitters.
We think we do. We got Jordan Crisp and Courtney Dosa again. We've got Carrie Schmidt. We can keep going on with names and names here, but all of them are contributing very big at the plate with the home runs. And right now, we're leading the conference again in home runs, and also the regional area we're leading in the home run area. So, Dosa's got a good chance to break our home run record here at the college. She's standing on 10 right now, and so we think if we keep going that way, we're gonna set some records and be successful with it.
And Coach, I think everybody realizes that you can't rely on sophomores for every single inning and every single game, and you've got a great group of freshmen. And your freshman has a really significant local flavor. Talk about some of these young kids that are helping your team.
There's a lot of local talent here that's very good, and that's what we like about them, bring them into our program, we think they can contribute and help us not only as athletes but as good student athletes. And they're producing big numbers on the field. And one of them is Gina Melton from Crystal City. Right now, she's hitting almost 460 for us. She leads the conference in doubles with 14. Outstanding defensively player. Right now we've got Kristen Marler on the team. We've got Christy Fraley from Hillsboro. Both of those athletes are, they're contributing to our program, and they're excelling in the classroom also. But on the field, all these athletes that are local, they're making us the team that we are this year.
Coach, you mentioned two outstanding starting pitchers, but you've got a pretty wide range of pitching styles with some of your other pitchers. Talk about those kids and what they mean to your staff.
Our forte is kind of crazy this year. We have power pitchers, which we think Jordan is and what Courtney Dose is. And then we've got finesse pitchers, where we think we have in Brittany Feeney, and with I'm trying to think of my other pitcher here we got here from Avon, Missouri, Kendra Deering. So between those, we think we've got a wide variety of pitching styles that can throw teams off, and we like to utilize that as much as possible.
And I think one of the fun things that I enjoy is watching your kids at the plate. It seems like there's several people up and down the lineup that have power that can really change a game in one swing. Who are some of your better power hitters?
Carrie Schmidt's right now hitting probably the best for us, with Bridget Shade, right there with her, and Brittany Martin also. All those that are on the top of our 5 or 6 in our top lineup are all contributing very well for us right now. Be either by hitting the long ball or hitting, timely hitting and hitting the gaps. And with those on base all the time, and the next one coming up and doing that, doing their job too, it's been pretty consistent that we're always on base.
And I think the other impressive thing that I've seen about your team early in the season is, the defense behind your pitching staff has really, really done a nice job. And you were talking earlier, about a well-rounded team, but talk about what this defense means to your team's success.
Defense wins championships. You always hear that. It's old cliche, but it really does. A good, sound defensive team will carry you through when your offense is lacking or when your pitching's a little struggling. And so we think we've got solid defense. At times this year, we've kind of been lax a little bit. I've been on to them about that. But I think overall, our defense is sound to the point where we can trust it. We can think our pitching staff trusts it. So we're at the point where, if we continue at the pace we're on with our defense, that that's going to carry us to, and hopefully into the regional play.
And Coach, who's working with all these players? I know you're not doing all this work by yourself. You've got 19, 20 kids on a roster, and I'm sure you've got a staff that is really doing a good job. Who are those people?
We have a staff of 3, besides myself, which is Jeff Melton. He's been here with me for the last 3 years. Former grad here at Jefferson College, former Viking baseball player, outstanding individual. He helps us with our infield. He also helps us with our hitting, and like I said, he's been here for the last 3 years. And they ask him to do the things that he does for us on the schedule that we run and work, and it's unique and it's challenging for him with his family. And so we couldn't ask for more from him. And the same thing goes for Brandy Cook and Charlene Johnson. Both of those help us with either our pitching or our outfield. And with those 3, they're the catalysts of our staff. And without them, we wouldn't be the program that we are the last 4 years, going to this 5th year here. And I can't say more about them. It's just incredible to have them, and have them for this long. Because at the college level like this, to require them to be here at crazy hours and times, we've got to, we got to ask a lot of them. And for them to make the time and changes and arrangements in their schedule is unique for what they get paid. And it's tough. It's mostly a part-time position for them. So. We're blessed to have them and have them this long.
Well, Coach, that's an interesting point. I think people look at junior college athletics and maybe assume that it's not quite the time commitment, but it is. Give us an idea of what your staff does on a typical day, and the amount of hours that go into this project called softball.
On a typical day of a game day, we'll leave there early in the morning, 10, 11 o'clock that morning, and then we would have to go to travel to the site that we're going to play at. Normally, we'll even have to drive the vans or for transportation to that place. And then we'll turn around and have to do a pregame warm-up, which is usually an hour to 2 hours between, before the game time. And then you're talking about 2 hours for each game. So, we always play a double header, so we're talking 4 hours there, and then usually the hour or two travel back. So you're talking, 8 to 9 hours just for on a game day, not counting your prep time before and after. All the other things that we have to do with the equipment, field conditions. If it's a home game, you're talking long hours, and then all the stuff hidden behind the games and things with the practices in the morning and the weight training and the extra hitting and the pitching lessons. We can easily put in 30 to 40 hours a week just on softball alone.
That's an amazing commitment, and your staff, from my observation, has been doing a great job. Just keep up the good work. Coach, another interesting thing about your program that I've learned is you've had great success in placing players, and that was no different for your sophomores from the previous season. You've got several that are playing four-year school ball right now. Who are they,
yes,
and where are they at?
Currently right now we've got 3 from this past season. Natalie Sago's at Drury University down in Springfield, Missouri. We've got Brittany Ponder, which is at Maryville University, and we've also got Krista Gamerick, which is at Webster University. In the past, we've already placed 14 other players in just our short time in 3 years going in this year of players playing at the higher level, which we take a lot of pride in that, because that means we're doing something successfully here to get the look of the higher level universities and colleges, so they can catch them coaches' eyes. And so we think we're on the right track. We're sending players on, and that's what we think is one of our jobs, of the many jobs that we have.
Sure. Coach, I know you're looking to the future, and by the future I mean region tournament time. and in your opinion, where do you stack up in the Region 24? I'm sure there's a lot of great teams.
Well, actually, it's Region 16.
I'm sorry, Region 16.
But we think we match well with them. Unfortunately, we hadn't had some success just recently with a couple of the Region 16 teams, but we think we match up well going into this tournament with where our progress is taking us. We think we match well with what we think are the teams to beat, in which I think it's a wide open bracket. There's 6 teams in it this year. Maple Woods is back for the first time in 5 years, and from what I understand, they're a pretty scrappy program. So we think they're going to be in the mix, along with Three Rivers and St. Charles and North Central. So I think it's wide open. I really do, and I think if we run our gamut, we place well into the seedings. I think we got a good opportunity. I think we've got as good a chance as any as the rest of the other 5. So I like our chances. I think we've got a good opportunity to win that Region 6, and there's no reason why we shouldn't or couldn't.
And again, as all of our other sports fall into this category, Jefferson is also affiliated with a conference, which is the Midwest Community College Conference. How does your team stack up among those participants?
Currently, right now, we are on top of that. On that bracket, we are at 9-1. Directly behind us is Three Rivers Community College. So if we stay on the path we're going, and the path that we think we're going to go, if the girls keep working at the pace we're going, and we think this could be our 5th consecutive MCC-AC Conference Championship since the existence of our program.
And Coach, what does your current record indicate in regard to your ranking, and where do you see your record needing to go to get a good seed at region tournament time?
Right now we're standing at 18-10. You look back on that record, and you can second guess a couple of those losses, but some of those losses that we've taken were against 2 of the formerly ranked #1 teams in the country. The other 3 are against teams that were ranked in the top 5. So we're pretty. You don't like to say you're happy about losses, but at the same time, we like the competition that we're playing. And I like the competition that we're playing, because I think that gives us the opportunity to become better later on. And we've been tested to the point where we've been in those 2-1 close ball games against high competition. And so I think it prepares us well for later on. We are receiving votes for the national poll. I think if we have success next week and the following week after that, we should crack that top 25, which I think this team deserves. And I think it'll happen once we get to that point. And then to carry us on for the regional, it's important because overall record amounts to one of the criteria for the seedings, and we need that. We need to have the wins to do that. And it also is with our regional record, which right now we're currently at 3-3, which places us in second place, which is going to be, we got to continue. We got to improve that record there.
Coach, what's up next? I look at your April schedule, and I know you've got an awful lot of road games, so it's going to be a while before we get back home to hopefully get some home Viking cooking here. What's your schedule look like?
Our schedule right now, we've got coming up this weekend, we are down in Maple Woods Community College for a very tough regional opponent. And then we come back and we've got St. Charles Community College and Forest Park, 2 conference games that are very big for that conference title. And then that following weekend, we are at ICC down in Peoria, Illinois for a huge tournament, not so much because it's the competition that we're playing, which is going to be a lot of the Iowa teams from up there in District 11, which is huge because that's who we would have to play once we win our region, would be that district game up there in Iowa. So we'll get to see those teams up there, which is, it's very important for us to see what kind of, how we match up and who we're going to see if eventually, after that regional tournament.
And Coach, we're going to close out the show here, but let's give our viewers an idea of when that region tournament is and where the region tournament will be held, because as we mentioned earlier, that's what this is all about, trying to get that final victory and move on to a national tournament.
And our regional tournament this year will be April 30th through May 1st. It's at Columbia Rockbridge High School in Columbia, Missouri. Outstanding facility. We're very pleased to be there. And those, folks up there in Columbia at Columbia Rockbridge, they treat us very good up there. The hospitality is unbelievable, and they run a very nice tournament for us. And we couldn't ask for anything better for a tournament site. And so we're pleased with that, and hopefully with being kind of a neutral kind of central location for all the rest of the teams in the region. We think it's going to be a great place and a good atmosphere for the Region 16 tournament.
Coach, I'm excited. Like I said, I've enjoyed watching them play, and it looks like you've got your team moving forward and doing all the right things to get geared up for that region title. I want to wish you all the luck in the remainder of the season, and again at the end of April and May in Columbia, Missouri for the region tournament.
Thanks, Coach.
That's the end of our sports report. Tony Cook, softball coach, has been our guest. I'm Athletic Director Doug Stoutler. See you next time.